no,
There we go.
I was just saying from a standpoint of when you're rehabbing an injury, it is what it is, but you're going to be limited. You can't really jump into the field, but as soon as you can, that's when it's like, yo, like, unfortunately, some people, whether they got laid off or whatever the case is, because of the, like not wanting to do the mandate or not wanting to do this or not wanting to do that. It's different, but there are other circumstances now where how certain restrictions are lifted, where it's like certain places, whether you are or are not, with the ones and twos up in your arm, you could trip out and still get a job, whether you are or you're not. So that's, I don't know. It's one of those things where, and it's weird because people, like when you watch certain little news clips and like certain doctors might say like, oh, with these mandates leaving, be prepared for the surge and the spike and da 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 da. And then it's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, at this point, I feel like, unfortunately, and it's not about being like ignorant or being like mean about it, but it's like we're kind of at a point where it's kind of sort of like the flu now, meaning in context, before COV, we would be out here just in elevators jam-packed. Bro, when I first moved to Toronto, like mid 2019 or whatever, just jammed up in the subway cart. It was a dance floor. Everybody was bumping and grinding and shit, but there was no music. And then motherfucking you get to 2020 where it's like distance. It's crazy, bro. Within a matter of like 7 months, bro. I don't know. I just say all that to say, as far as going out for a job or whatever the case is now, if you're not nursing an injury or whatever, there's so many positions, I guess, if you don't have like an ego or like, oh, I don't care if I'm at McDonald's, or I don't care if I'm at this, or I don't care if I'm at that. Granted, you're at a point where you take something, you do certain things to build yourself up, then you elevate to another position. You got to do some things, bro. You got to do some things, you know?
I agree, but money talks, especially in this economy. So especially when we talk about how we're like sacrificing time for whatever they want to figure, whatever they feel they have to pay you, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's something I look at, especially at this age. But it's just something it's just a matter of getting out there and doing it again. It ain't no thing. It's just something else on the head, you know what I mean? And then when you have other things you're trying to juggle at the same time, it's just like the ball's up in the air, and sometimes you get hit in the face with the ball.
But you know what's crazy, bro? If people were to take their time, like just, for example, if you have certain things that you want to accomplish, but they all have different timelines, like when they need to be accomplished by, bro, it's like kind of similar how like I was talking shit with you about like talking with you about the little test or whatever I was just doing this shit for school. If you're not preparing yourself, unfortunately, you might mess around and fail. Granted, you didn't already like have a good grasp on the information, or it kind of goes back to the whole task we're trying to complete. If you don't fuck around and prepare yourself, unfortunately, you're not going to meet those deadlines. And it sucks, but it's just a reality. And it's not even about saying that, oh, we shouldn't juggle or we can't juggle things, but sometimes multitasking is like an issue, like a problem, because it's like you're not going to complete said task 100% with 100% of your effort, bro. Not you, but just like anybody, I guess. Yes, I get people are talented and they can do 7 things at once, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you give your 100% effort, complete a task, you're going to knock that shit out the park. Then you move on to phase 2, which is another project. Obviously, it's everyone chooses to live their life differently. I'm not saying one way's right, one way's wrong. It's just sometimes I feel like multitasking and shit like that, we spread ourselves thin. And then it's like we can't comprehend things properly, and we can't, like as you were using the expression, we start juggling shit in life, and it's fucking hard to complete it. And I don't know, just my 2 cents.
Like the great Ron Swanson said, you can't half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing. Like you really gotta, if you're gonna divide your like time and effort amongst like different things, you gotta be prepared to like lose a lot of efficiency with all that and lose a lot of things like that, unless you're like some superhuman who can manage all that. Or I don't know, there's ways to go about it, but at the same time, like you said, there's better to just focus on one thing at a time and put focus your energies and efforts towards that one thing and get that done, and go from there to the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one, sort of thing. It's just, I don't know. I think it's just for me anyways, it's all about trying to focus on the one thing as opposed to focus on this and then, oh wait a minute, this also has this, and then, oh wait a minute, this and this, oh blah, blah, blah. And that's how it all ends up being like too many balls in the air.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's work in progress.
No, man. Again, that's why I was saying it's not even before I went on my little rant or whatever. I was like, yeah, it's not specific. Even though I said you, I'm saying you as far as like whether it's a listener. Shit, I'm talking to myself. We all have things that we want to accomplish, and so it's never about judgment and being like, yo, you're wrong. That's why I had to fucking come back and clear it up by saying like, yo, it's not saying that multitasking is wrong, but it's like it sucks because I see it within my own life, and it's like I can only imagine that with other people in the time they have, similar to me, 24 hours in a day, it's like people might face similar issues or similar challenges when it comes to trying to complete a whole bunch of things at once, and preparing yourself for unfortunate disappointment because you're saying, okay, I didn't properly prepare myself. I messed around and went into a task that I was supposed to take serious. People now are looking like around me, might be looking at me like, yo, oh shit, it didn't go well for you, or oh shit, you failed such and such, and it sucks because you're like, dang, like sometimes it's not saying that we have to live for others, but sometimes we want to make others proud, especially if we care about them and things like that, bro. So then you say to yourself, I didn't only let myself down, I let other people down, and then you're like, shit, like then you kind of you feel bad, might feel bad about the scenario. It's a cycle. But yeah, man, and it's a cycle that could be averted if one goes above. Like, don't get me wrong, you go above and beyond the properly planned, bro. You go hard in the paint with how you're working. Your every move is calculated. Your every move is like there's no wasted steps. And then the plan fails. Hey, bro, you gave it your all, 100%. Like your man, like the quote you were saying from your man talking about you whole assed it, bro. Like it wasn't half ass. It was the whole ass. But no, like it's funny, but no, it's real though. Like if you fail on that accord, okay, cool. I can live with that. Me personally, I can live with that. But yeah, man, I can only speak for myself and saying like, man's be out here half-assing trying to get full ass results. And that shit ain't gonna work.
Just it, right, man? Like
it's
just that. Like you go away, cat, freaking cat. Anyways, it really is, but like you said, 24 hours in a day, but not everyone's 24 hours are the same, and not everyone's 24 hours look the same or is the same, basically, just because like some people have, like I said, they're having other tasks they have to do. Fuck, I couldn't even imagine having to work 2 jobs and like especially like 2 shifts in one day or something like that. I've like some people do, but
you'd be surprised how many people in this city do that. Like how many people I work with at the hospital do that. It's crazy.
Like commute and like and like trying to eat and trying to like do like just to keep like the basic, just that bare minimum to keep yourself going, plus all that. Yeah, it's insane. People are made of some strong stuff.
Fuck, if you're home for 4 or 5 hours out of your day, the other 2, like 3.5-ish are commuting to where you have to get to, bro. And then the other 16 are going from one job to another. Granted, your jobs are relatively close to each other. That shit is crazy. But again, people do it. People do not, and they don't care because they're saying to themselves like, okay, if I'm gonna work hard, super hard. But then I'm saying to myself, bro, like that's why I even like in contemplating, like if for example, like right now, if I have multiple hustles, it is what it is. I do what I do. But one of the incomes is working like at a job where I got to be there for 8 hours. So out of one of those situations, if I'm making a certain hourly rate, and then I'm saying to myself, if I went to school for 4 years, got a degree or some type of license or some type of, you know what I mean? Like key to open up a door for me to get paid. Let's just say, I won't even say double what I make. I'll say like only like say you were making, just as an example, say you're making $40 an hour. If you go to school for 4 years and then when you finish, when you get back into when you get into a program, now you're making $50 an hour, AKA $10 an hour more. Some people might be like, well, is that $10 an hour more worth it? if I'm already making 40, what's 50? Don't get me wrong. I know it might add up over time, that $10 per hour, but I'm just saying, like, thinking of it from a logical standpoint of in that 4 years that I might not be able to work full time, granted, if that's my hustle, I'm going to be giving that shit up to potentially, and I might not get right to it right as soon as I finish school. I might not get right to the job I want. Shit might add up. Granted, if that's like a way you might be viewing it. It's different, bro. Like that time for money conversation is fucking, it's wild because it's something that I struggle with to this day. I keep trying to find that right balance.
It really is like, and that's something I try to tell like the younger, like if I'm ever at a job and I see like young kids, that's what I tell them was like, value your time. Like, don't just like value, like money is one thing, like everyone needs it to survive, unfortunately in this world, but like, don't like give them your time for nothing. You know what I mean? Like value that and don't let them know that, oh, this is your only source of income sort of thing. You got to keep them wanting you sort of thing. That's how I've always looked at that anyways. But like I always tell them like, yeah, it's the money may be good doing certain things, but you also got to value your time too at the end of it. Like, hey, yeah, I may be great doing this 12-hour shift job. Like the money may be great, but I only have like how many hours, and like, you know, after the fact, you're only doing like going home, eating and sleeping sort of thing. Like, oh yeah, I may have this great job where I'm doing all this, but I'm miserable because I only have like this amount of time after the fact before I have to get up and do it all over again. You know what I mean? Like,
Bro,
I've worked those jobs before, man, and it fucking sucks. Like you have no time, like you have literally no time to yourself. And the time you do have to yourself, you're just, like I said, doing the bare minimum to get by, to get going. So this is why I say you got to value that time more than the money in that situation, because you won't get that time back. And and eventually you're just going to run yourself into the ground with that because you need that time to recover and all that.
Bro, I was contemplating, as soon as I got out here, I was contemplating how, like, some of my sisters and shit. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna trip out. I'm gonna have 2 grinds. I'm gonna, and I said to myself, as far as like 2 physical grinds, I said to myself, like halfway through, like searching for another job when I was already in like a pretty good job, I was like, why? I can obviously make more money doing that, yes. But then I'm saying to myself, that's 8 hours of life every day that, like, I'm already giving up 8 hours of life. That is another 8 hours of life every day. I'm saying to myself, let me give up for in exchange for money, which if things don't align correctly, or if you don't get the opportunities to take certain time off that you want to, so you can't use that money in the way you might want to. Yeah, you can have, like, don't get me wrong, having money is obviously always great, but again, it's that trading of the time, because I don't want to have to sacrifice, like, yo, you have to work every holiday, so you don't get to see your family on any holidays. Granted, if you're in that scenario, I commend you and you're doing it, go hard. But me personally, I want to see my family on the holidays or around that time at least. Or if it was super snowing, to be privileged to have like the ability to call in, hey, unfortunately, I'm calling in sick, da 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 da. Versus not having it where you have to just be like, yo, I gotta struggle through this snowstorm. Or I'm just saying, certain scenarios cause you to be like, okay, I'm very fortunate and grateful for my position. But then in another breath, you're saying to yourself, but do I want to continue to slave myself, like just overwork myself just for $1? That shit is crazy.
And like you said, especially if you can't spend it like you want to spend it, what's the point? Like you can't take it with you to the grave. The Egyptians tried. Look what happened to them.
Bro, unfortunately, yeah, people unfortunately dug them up later and ended up taking their shit, as far as whether it's for artifacts, for museums, or whether it's just grave robbers who around that time had done it. Regardless, savage as that is, people, I feel, again, I kind of mentioned it last episode, but I'm just simply saying, bro, people sometimes feel like we have forever, bro. And I'm not saying it from a negative standpoint. I'm saying it from a standpoint of like, yo, for example, going to a grocery store, you're polite with the cashier, da 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 da. She might have just talked to somebody who was unfortunately a jerk to her. And then you go in there and you're nice, and it might make her feel a little better before she goes home at the end of her shift, or he goes home at the end of his shift. Versus you go in there, you're that same jerk that I was talking about, where it's like that type of little stuff, as far as whether you're going to work, going to somebody else's place of business, just being out with the homies, being out with your girl, whatever. The energy you bring with you, bro, like that's the life you live, man. And it's like, I'm not trying to always be on edge. Yeah, it is what it is. Like, you have to defend yourself. Like that's why I was kind of talking to you a little earlier about like saying as far as, yeah, okay, you're a man. So like if you're a man, like, okay, I might have to defend myself, or I might have to defend me and my girl, whatever. But bringing that energy with you to different locations is never, in my opinion, is never like the answer. That's never gonna help you in any way, shape, or form, because people notice that shit. I don't know if you see that when you're out and about, Trent.
Like just people just being like overtly like aggressive, or how do you like? What do you mean?
Just being able to notice like the energy people bring, whether it's positive, like the people who come in the room and light up the room. Everybody's like, "Oh shit, that's such and such. What up, baby?" Versus somebody comes in the room and kind of takes the energy out the room, and you're like, "Damn, this motherfucker might be going through something." You know, like I don't know if you've experienced that or
God, yeah, like
or tried
around like close proximity to the pub. I see it like on a regular basis, just because it's just like you see like there's regulars and all that, and that's just kind of like the normal vibe like that. Then you have like maybe some odd person who comes in, or some regular that comes in, they just have like, I don't know, just something out of the ordinary, and like the vibe goes up. And then there's the other times where it's just they come in with a bad vibe and everything goes down, or somebody comes in and starts shit and it all goes to hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It literally just it's just outside factors, one or the other, generally in this case. But yeah, it's definitely, and what you were saying earlier, it's definitely better to leave somebody with like, yeah, that was a really good interaction, than instead of like, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? It always is, because it costs nothing to like be nice to people. It really doesn't. Like, especially if they're not, especially if they're not going out of their way to be like a shithead to you. Like, there's no reason to be like spiteful or mean to anybody just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? Or just to take it out on somebody else. Like, especially if they didn't do it to yourself, like do it to you. Like, there's no reason for that. Never understood that my entire life, even as a kid. Never understood that.
Well, bro, I was gonna say, well, let me give you a different perspective. Don't get me wrong. In certain environments, certain neighborhoods, certain people's cultures, different certain environments where unfortunately, sometimes you have to more or less be tough, or more or less have to be or have like a let's just say your battle face, so to speak, on while you're approaching certain scenarios. Sometimes those environments happen and things like that. So in different scenarios, like different energies are brought with you into those environments. But I would say once you get to a point of growth or a point of like evolution in saying like, yo, I'm not living a life where I need to be in that type of mode. So with that being said, I'm not going to bring that energy towards where I'm going. Cool. That's a dope ass evolution and process that you can go through. And I commend you if you ever have like get to that phase, people. But yeah, bro, sometimes shit is tough where unfortunately you have to carry some, so to speak, darkness with you. And you don't want to have that with you, but to survive in certain scenarios, you might have to. So, but on the flip side, don't get me wrong, you're right. There is no real reason why anybody should be a jerk or an asshole trying to fight, trying to whatever. Granted, if somebody doesn't spark or initiate something with them, but you can't, as the famous saying goes, everybody's facing a battle that you know nothing about, kind of thing, right? So that's the whole point of, you kind of can't really, or you should try not to really bring that energy where you're going, you know? All this shit ties together, bro. Whether it's the trading time for money, whether it's the way you approach people when you're at a place where you're earning money, which causes you to not compromise your job or whatever the case. Like, it's just, there's just all this shit is. But speaking of that, being at a place where you might not want to compromise your job, but eventually you go to a point of not caring. In pop news, at the Oscars, my boy Will Smith was out here wilding, slapped the heck out of, he slapped the dust out of Chris Rock's mouth. Bro, shit was wild. But
that's a good one.
If to the people who might not have seen it, yeah, bro, like Chris Rock made a G.I. Jane reboot sequel joke or whatever about her, and unfortunately, obviously, Will wasn't really having it. What I believe,
wasn't either. Did you see the look on her face?
Yeah, of course, like, but I believe furious. It's because I believe that she may have a condition that might unfortunately be.
Yeah, she has alopecia, so she's balding. So that's a very touchy subject for a lot of, especially, well, guys too. Like, I've met a lot of guys that have that, but still, and,
it's people unfortunately minding other people's business too damn much. And with that being said, Will wanted to set a point to make him understand, yo, I don't give a shit. It's not about trying to crack on my wife for your cheap humor in that regard. Like, regardless if the joke was funny, oh, the joke was funny. It's like, yo, what people have to understand is once you start talking about people's health and mental health and shit like that, that's where shit can get dark, because anyhow, you're the reason why people want to harm themselves or whatever cases. That should never be taken lightly, bro. So yeah. Will had, in my opinion, I get it. Will might have, after he later apologized, and don't get me wrong, I get it. He expressed, like, you know what I mean, like, as far as like wanting to protect and being able to, like, because people don't, in certain instances when you have a family that cares about you, shit like that, bro. Family's all you got. Yo, you got to protect what's yours in that regard, bro. So to the people watching, hey, please respect others around you, because unfortunately somebody might snap, crack, or pop, and next thing you know, you got a mouthful of blood, and you got to just accept that shit.
Or just a smack jaw in his case, man. He clacked him good though. That was a really good one. That was a good smack.
Lucky Will didn't actually lay him down though, because granted, if the smack laid him down, Trent, aka like he still smacked him, but Chris fell out and sprawled out on the. That would have been terrible, bro. They would have had to try to cut to commercial, all types of fast and shit. Instead, this guy just standing there, hands in his pocket, talking about wow, or whatever.
That just happened.
Bro, what do you expect? He was walking up to the stage all ferocious. What do you expect, bro?
Was he gonna do? Come up and ho, good one.
Yeah, he's gonna smack shit. Especially, you should have saw his face, bro, when he was coming up. Like, bro, I'm not playing. Like, I'm about to. I thought he was gonna punch him, but he actually open-handed. I'm like, oh, okay. He wasn't trying to catch that charge, like that real assault type of charge, like that. Either way,
on live TV too. Exactly. I don't blame him.
He said, if I slap you, it's different than if I punch you, type shit. You know what I mean? But either way, I'm just saying.
Trying to say it was a punch. People have never been slapped in the face before, never seen a slap been thrown before. That was not a punch. That was a clear open hand slap. Like,
but hear me out. And it's not even about, Trent, it's not even about making fun of Chris Rock as far as being like, oh, he should have knocked him out, blah, blah. No, I'm simply saying all that shit is the same unnecessary bullshit we talking about. Like, I get it. He's a host. He has to be charismatic. But see, when you start going above, and it's not like he's the only one. Like, other hosts and presenters and shit that night made their wisecracks. But, bro, when you start talking about people's families, wives, children, et cetera, you can't then say, oh, he took it too far. You don't know what such and such might be going through, or if she's battling some scenario or whatever to say. Bro, don't talk about her health and shit. Either way, I say all that to say people are wild. Please mind your business, my dear friends, because you can be out here getting abused and whatnot for the nonsense you be saying. Please don't put yourself in the way of that fire, in the way of those bullets.
All those years of the crying Will Smith memes, and everyone forgets he was Muhammad Ali in a movie. Like, he actually trained to box. Like people want like, man, like what are we doing out here? Like, for real, don't be rude. But not nice to mention, he's also six something, let's just say 6 whatever.
And as I'm a smaller dude, it is what it is. But I'm not going to just run up on Will just to run up on Will. If we have to fight a fair one, unfortunately, we got to fight a fair one, and let's get it. But it's never about trying to initiate no BS just to initiate it, bro. Either way, I'm just saying, bro.
Mind your P's and Q's out here, people.
Please mind your P's and Q's. Please mind your business. Understand that if you're going to be doing something, please do it full-heartedly. Don't half-ass, because motherfuckers is out here talking about, oh, how come I'm not where I want to be? How come I'm not? And genuinely, it's not about saying that the conditions you're in, sometimes, again, you might be in a messed up scenario, but if you choose to slowly but surely find different ways to assist yourself, because unfortunately nobody's coming for you, so AKA you have to assist yourself and work for yourself to get out those situations, bro. At least if you do that, you can get to your destination, versus being like, oh, how come I'm not where I want to be, and you're not changing shit. You're not changing the way
all about the work you put in.
Yeah, bro. Like, again, I'm about to. So if I for me personally, Trent, if I'm about to take this journey and do this whole schooling and do this whole, oh, I'm going to do this just to make X amount of dollars more than I'm already making, it's just like, well, shit. What's the point of all that stress and no sleeping and like nights of no sleeping and and motherfuckers is drinking coffee like I got a coffee IV like a motherfucker, just coffee going right into the bloodstream. Just no shit's real though. You don't see.
I know you're not lying.
What's that? Adderall and different types of shit like that.
I made it through university.
Bro, I'm just saying shit's real. I'm not saying I'm trying to indulge in that type of shit to try to achieve my dreams or achieve what I'm trying to get to, bro. Like,
it's not worth
I'd
it
rather
in
spend
the long run.
Bro, but I'd rather, again, at the end of the day, I'd rather spend my time doing the things I like doing. And yeah, it might not make me $1 million, but if I feel like at the end of life, hey, bro, I lived, I feel fulfilled. Nobody can really take that from you. I hope the people listening know that, bro.
That's just it. That's exactly it. I couldn't have said it any better than that. If it doesn't make me $1 million, I don't give a shit. I just did what I wanted to do because I wanted to do it.
Hey, bro. And regardless, because with me, it's not even about like just just because I wanted this. I'm doing shit that makes me feel good. Like that's kind of what experiencing life. But you're like, I'm not just doing shit. Oh, like I broke that lamp just because I broke that lamp. If the breaking the lamp made you release some anger and at least you know it was an inanimate object, you weren't hurting anybody, and you specifically, hey, I get it. Some people got to release the way they got to release. But other motherfuckers, they just put that shit in the right place. Whether it's they just direct it at the right situation versus anyone who doesn't deserve it, they don't get it. Motherfuckers know how to do the right thing. Some people put into jujitsu, all types of shit. Channel that shit to the right place, my dear friends, and hopefully that shit that anger or whatever turns into like determination and drive. Fuck around and get you to a new position in life. But I don't know to anyone. I don't know if you got a 1, 2 more. You got to get off your chest.
Got that, man. That was great.
Yeah, bro. I'm cool, bro. Well, hey, to the people listening, my name is Graham.
I'm Trent.
And this is another episode of Ultra Fly Talk. We appreciate you rocking with us. We just in and out like a robbery. It's just a little quick one, little splash in the pan. My boy Trent's rocking the dope ass Canucks jersey, bro. Like it is what it is, bro. We out here. Yeah, man. Take care.